Okay, good day, guys. Good day to you all. Welcome back to the Formula Sports channel. Thanks for being here, and thanks for all the support that we have been receiving thus far. We really do appreciate it. Now, today I really want to talk a little bit about Lamar Walker, and of course, you guys know that Lamar Walker is a young player for us who is doing um good things at Miami FC. You know, he made the move to Miami FC earlier this year. Also along with Joshan Anglin, right? So we have two young players at Miami FC. We have four players overall at Miami FC. Speedy Williams, McFarlane, Anglin, and Lamar Walker. So Lamar has been doing well, or he has done well in his first two games. I had the privilege of watching his first two games for Miami FC. And I must say I was very impressed. He had a very impressive debut against Loudoun United, guys. A very, very impressive debut against Loudoun United. Right? I was really impressed with his debut. He came on as a sub and he was running at defenders, breaking the lines, bringing his team up the pitch sometimes single-handedly, right? And in that particular game, Miami really needed that because they were down. They went down a man very early, right? The player is an excellent dribbler, right? An excellent dribbler. And his overall performance for a pro debut to be arguably the best outfield player on the pitch, because the goalkeeper for Miami was the man of the match, and rightly so. He had an outstanding game. But in my estimation, Lamar was the best outfield player in the game, right? And to do that, making your pro debut for me is just exceptional. Exceptional. Took a couple of shots at goal as well. One in particular forced an excellent save, right? So because of his performance in the game against Loudoun, I was really and truly looking forward to see Lamar's second game. Anglin as well came on as a substitute in that first game, and truth be told, Anglin, I hate to say this, I don't like to say this, I want to report good things about the players all the time, especially young players, but unfortunately, Joshan didn't have such a good game at all when he came on. If memory serves me right, Lamar came on in shortly after halftime in the game against Loudoun, and Joshan Anglin came on in the 80th minute, and Joshan Anglin's mistake caused the consolation goal, right? He was trying to force a pass at the corner flag that just wasn't on, right? Just wasn't on. He was trying to force it and he ended up giving the ball away. And even after that, his mistake almost led to two goals in transition for Loudoun as well. So he didn't have a good debut at all. In the end, he started to come around. His last couple of touches were good, but his first couple of touches on his debut were not so good. I don't know if his nerves are pro debut or what. Not accusing the player of nerves, just saying his pro debut, it never went well. He started to improve the last couple of touches. One touch he had in particular, Joshan Anglin, he made a very good skill move to elude the press of. If you remember, it's two players in beat with that one move, right? And then sent Lamar Walker on his way with a brilliant through pass. But generally speaking, his game was not the best, and he didn't feature in this one. And I'm kind of not surprised based on his overall performance on his debut. But of course, Lamar Walker had to feature in this one because his pro debut when he came on, remember, he came on at halftime or shortly after. His pro debut was just magnificent, guys. Magnificent. It was beautiful to watch, and the commentators were constantly singing his praises. Even when he was coming on, the commentators were saying that, the Miami FC coaching staff, they really, really admire this player. So let us take a deeper dive into Lamar's game against Hartford, right? And he started this one, which is not surprising. So again, Lamar was good in this one against Hartford, even though Miami lost this one against a good team, because Hartford is considered in the USL to be a good team. But it did take a while for Lamar to really get active in this one. It took him a while to get going, but when he did, he really got going. In the earlier stages of the game, the most you saw of him was intense pressing. The player works hard off the ball, and that is always good when you see a young player putting in that sort of work off the ball. And that continued throughout the entirety of his time spent on the pitch. And as the game went on, guys, Lamar just started to get more touches on the ball and just started to get more involved in the game. And especially in this game, Miami was heavily dependent on wing play, right? Most of their opportunities came down the flank, especially on the left flank. And by the way, Lamar came on as a sub on the left flank last week. This week, he started on the right. So that's important to note. So as I said, it took him a while to get going. Lamar had started to come deep to receive the ball, right? And on a couple of occasions came deep to try and get himself involved in the game. And that's good when you see a young player really and truly wanting the football. That's always a positive sign. So the first time Lamar came deep, he was being intensely pressed by two Hartford players, right? He was being intensely pressed by two Hartford players. And let me tell you, guys, Lamar delivered a beautiful piece of skill, right? Beautiful two touches, two sharp touches, two quick touches, one skill move, basically eluded the press of both. Right, eluded the press of both. It was just an amazing piece of skill to beat both players, to get past both players, right? And this particular piece of skill kickstarted a very promising attack for Miami, right? But he made one pass to a teammate, and then that teammate switched the play out wide, right? And the winger unfortunately miscontrolled the ball. But basically at around the halfway line, he got the ball, an impressive piece of skill, beat both defenders, cut inside, and just basically started running at the Hartford defense, and then laid it off to a teammate who passed it off out wide. So unfortunately a very promising attack, broke down because of a mistake. But that was Lamar's first real serious involvement in this game. On another occasion, from a goalkeeper kick-out, Lamar did an excellent first touch to settle the ball, right? An excellent first touch. And he tried to turn, and his second touch almost got him past the defender, right? It's just out of luck the defender just got a touch on it and put it out for a throw, right? But if he had gotten past that defender, Hartford would have been in serious problems, right? Serious problems, because it was the last line, and he would have been in behind that line if he had gotten that touch. And Lamar, the player moves very quickly with the ball, right? For Lamar to be bearing down on your goal, it's not a pretty sight, right? So unfortunately, that attack, petered out for a throw-in. But again, Lamar was looking very dangerous on this particular play. Just luck that the player, just barely got a touch to it and put it out. but he was almost beaten by the turn and the impressive second touch from Lamar. So Lamar was basically doing big things in this particular game. The best chance of the game, however, Lamar was the one who actually created it, right? Or the best chance of the first half for Miami FC, Lamar was the one who created it. So he was pressing at about, he was deep, he came deep again. As a matter of fact, if I remember right, he was midway zone, half on this one, right? Pressed, won the ball, right? A very good challenge, won the ball, and drove the ball through the middle of the park very quickly and started running at the center backs, right? When he picked up the ball around midway zone half and at about midway the Hartford half, right? He released the runner to his left, right? The left winger, with a perfectly weighted pass. Excellent through ball, man. It was beautiful. And the winger ran onto it. And the winger was in on goal, but again, this particular winger, he did well in the game, but he was very wasteful in the final third, right? And that happened on this particular play. It was Miami FC's best chance of the first half, and Lamar's press and his challenge to win the ball and his drive through the middle of the park and his perfectly weighted through ball is what created this particular opportunity for Miami. And this was their best chance of the first half. Unfortunately, again, it petered out, but Lamar looking sharp, looking very impressive in this one. On another occasion, guys, Lamar found himself with the ball at his feet in the opposition's penalty box. A skill move to fake a defender one way, then he quickly turned the other way and started to cut inside. But sadly, his pass was intercepted. And if that pass had gotten to its intended target, Hartford again would have been in problems. Right? So Lamar was just looking lively, very lively in this one, man. Very, very lively in this one. But unfortunately, and shockingly, Lamar came off at halftime. Right, Lamar came off at halftime, and I was very surprised. Truth be told, I was shocked. I was watching the game and I'm looking for Lamar and I'm saying, where is Lamar? Because I don't even think the commentators even realized that Lamar had been substituted. I don't know if he had picked up a knock. They didn't comment on it. They really and truly didn't. It looked as if it was a tactical move from the coach, because the guy, what had happened was he had taken, I think the guy's name is Francois, who was on the left wing, the same guy who I said was being very wasteful in the final third. He had taken him off. No, he had switched him out rather to the right flank, where Lamar Walker was, and had brought on a left-footed player, right? To come on in his place on the left wing and took off Lamar, right? And it does appear that because the guy who previously occupied the left wing, Francois, I think is his name, who was eventually switched out to the right, he was playing as an inverted winger, right? And it does appear as if the coach wanted more crosses into the box and also better, because Francois was trying to his passes in the final third was bad, right? His decision making was bad and his passes was bad. And I think that the coach deliberately brought on the player to have a better impact where that was concerned, because even though Francois was lively and doing really well, his decision making in the final third and his balls and passes were poor. And the substitute who came on did much better where that was concerned. I guess because he was left-footed, his crosses and his passes were, better and more accurate. very disappointing that Lamar came off, and also Lamar did get a yellow card as well. That must be taken into consideration, right? Lamar did get a yellow card late in the first half. He lost the ball with a bad touch. Probably the only bad thing he did all game, right? And he went back to try and retrieve it and took out the player from behind, right? And truth be told, it was a little bit immature. It was a bit of immaturity coming in from Lamar Walker. Truth be told, he did lose it in a dangerous position, so I can understand why he was a little bit frantic. But yet still, he lost the ball with a bad touch, and he went in late, right? The player didn't even have the ball when he challenged, and you just can't challenge from behind, man. You guys know that go already. You just can't do that. So a mistake from Lamar, and he was automatically given a yellow card. The referee didn't itch. So that probably has to be taken into consideration as well. And Lamar isn't the type of player who shies away from making a challenge, even though he's a winger. So probably the coach thought that it was best and wise to take off the player, and they got a red card the week before. So who knows? The coach probably was a bit paranoid, right? Didn't want another player coming off. So that's the story right there. But with all of this said, guys, Lamar, in my estimation, was the second most creative player for Miami going forward, right? And he had a very good game nonetheless. I really felt away when he came off, but that's just how these things go, right? And truth be told, it was a mistake, I think, for him to have come off, because I think that Miami were better with Lamar on the pitch. So probably the coach will learn from that and not make that mistake again. Because even Francois, when he got switched out to the right, his impact, it dwindled, right? He was still okay, but it still, he didn't have the same impact, especially the same impact that Lamar was having. So that's it, guys. Lamar Walker doing very good in the USL, and we'll continue to track and continue to monitor this player, and I have very high hopes for this player. So guys, until next time, stay safe, take care, and again, until next time.